another week in racing. It's time to recap it. And who better to do it than Michael and Magic? Two bros/pros who cover the highs and lows of racing around the globe on every one of their shows. Real fans look forward to these guys and their last thoughts, cause they know they're not talking out of their royal ascot. What they say makes sense. So ladies and gents, sit back and relax as Blinkers Off presents The Magic Mike Show, where you hear the experts speak. The Magic Mike Show. Tune into the show every week. The Magic Mike Show. You can trust the show is the bomb because it's being brought to you by RacingDudes.com.
What's up, everybody? I'm Magic.
And I'm Mike.
And this is the Magic Mike Show, episode 354. Mr. Somich.
Professor!
Woo! We're back for the second time today.
No, this is the first show.
Second time this week. Sorry, I was thinking about Monday's show, and I've been sick all week. Days are combining. Jared's probably going to fire me because of 3 different times I've missed a meeting. It's okay. Hey, We're live. We're going to have a great time today. How you doing?
I'm doing great. We've definitely not already recorded the dirt earlier today that's coming out tomorrow.
Definitely wasn't thinking about that. Hey, listen.
Not been recorded yet.
Magic Mike Show 354. We are covering a very special sequence. It is a coast-to-coast, all-turf stakes, pick 5 between Gulfstream Park and Santa Anita. There's a 12% low takeout. There's a $1 minimum, so this is a very exciting pool. Also, we haven't mentioned it before when we were hyping it up, Mike, but this is also a mandatory payout, right? Because it's just the one time. So everything that goes in must come out. So very excited for this.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome, man. And like, you know, the dirt, which we handicapped, I mean, that is a lot simpler than this sequence. I think this one could pay 5 figures legitimately. I wouldn't be shocked if you see like a $15,000 return on this. Deep fields. I almost singled the horse. Magic did single one. It's the same horse, which I mean,
that makes me feel better.
Yeah, like that's definitely a positive. And we actually, ironically, we have a press ticket, or not a joint ticket for $9. So we do agree on a couple horses here, but I'm at 120 on my ticket, and I feel like I aggressively carved off this thing pretty good. Like it is a tough sequence to get through. I'm going to use some prices, and hopefully we're right in a couple legs because this thing's going to pay. I bet you get a $2 million pool on this all turf one. I bet you're about 1.5 on the dirt one, and I think this one's going to pay exponentially more.
And if you guys want to get in the dirt action, that'll be up on Friday at midnight West Coast time. So it'll be on YouTube on the podcast. So if you're subscribed to us, you'll get that right away. And yeah, it's covering the all dirt stakes pick 5, which includes the San Felipe Stakes and the Fountain of Youth Stakes. Those are both grade 2s worth 50 points towards the Kentucky Derby. So you definitely want to check that out as well. But Mike, this thing that we're doing, this turf pick 5, it's all part of this really great day that the first Saturday people are doing, which is Gulfstream, Santa, all the Stronach companies. They also have a free-to-play $5 million jackpot prize that all you have to do, there's 15 stakes at Gulfstream and Santa Anita. You just got to pick the winner of all 15 races. It's pretty easy, right? You only get one shot. It's not like a pick 4 where you can pick all you want. So pick all 15. If you get it right, great. You get the $5 million jackpot. If you're not, if you say you get 14, but you're the only one that gets 14, you got a VIP trip to the Preakness Stakes coming at you. So that's pretty exciting. And then on Saturday, there's the first Ultimate Betting Challenge. It's a $3,500 buy-in. There's a $25,000 seeded prize pool, which is nice. Kind of gets us started. Seeded. Free money. On top of that, $75,000 cash prize pool to the top 5 finishers. And by the way, automatic entries to face Mike Somich, this guy right here, in all of the big betting tournaments this year. So that's exciting. That's on Saturday. If you're like Magic and you're like 3,500 is too much, there's a $300 buy-in for a feeder on Friday that is going to take 1 out of every, I think, 35 seats or 35 people into Saturday. So join me. I'm doing that one Friday. Our friend Geis is doing that one. So hopefully I'll see you over in that tournament.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity to kind of check the boxes. Like inside the text messages with the tournament guys, we all joke about checking the BCBC NHC box. You get to do that in February or March now, I guess, if you're able to win this tournament, including and also get a Pegasus World Cup seat. All of them include travel, by the way, which is kind of awesome. So you get to actually go to the track for all of these days, which is part of what I love, or Vegas on Super Bowl weekend with a free hotel room for 5 days. So yeah, I think that part of it is definitely worthwhile too. So get involved. If you haven't played tournaments, the Friday way is a great feeder to kind of get into it, and then Saturday it's a blast. And you know what? If 3,500 isn't your thing, I highly recommend it because I used to do this. It was a great way. I still do this to kind of hone my cash game tournaments. Put $250 aside or put $25 aside, your choice, and play the tournament as if you were playing for 2,500 and see how high you can get up and see where you end up on the leaderboard with what you have left at the end of the day. It's a good kind of thought experiment to do to kind of get experience without actually having to pony up the 3,500.
I dig it. It's gonna be a lot of fun. You can find. I know ExpressBet is the one that's handling all those tournaments, and I have been. There's a lot of pressure on me to do well in this because, as Mike said, there is a free trip to Vegas or anywhere involved, and the second Mrs. Magic heard free 5-day trip to Vegas, she got very excited. So I got to try and get that earned now.
As a new dad, let me tell you, one of the best secrets. I qualified. I have to go. That's one of the best lines you can put out there.
I qualified. I have to listen. It's just a matter of things. She said, "Oh, so you're gonna win the kind of money that Mike wins." I was like, "Well, that's the goal. That's the goal. That's the goal." Also, the goal is to try and give out a winning ticket on this. It is a pick 5, so we're gonna skip the pleasantries. Let's get it right into it, Mike. Riders up. I gotta get this thing straightened out here. I've got the Gulfstream Park Equibase thing all thrown off here.
All right. Before Magic gets into it,
please.
Doc calls out table 145. We had 6 of us at the table 145. Hopefully we can have 146, 147, and 148 next year at NHC. So let us know if you end up qualifying. We'd love to get like everybody in a group around the same tables. That'd be a blast. And Keith, I will tell you every horse I considered using in every leg. So you can decide how crazy you want to go, because you could spend $1,000 and not hit this thing. It's that tough. But I'll definitely let you know everyone I use or would have used or considered using in every leg.
That's an answer to someone wanting to know what Mike's trimmed down ticket was that you referenced earlier. Let's get into things. I'm officially ready now. Sorry about that. Leg 1 of the Coast to Coast All Turf Stakes, pick 5, brings us to Gulfstream for race 7. That's the Palm Beach Stakes. You got a field of 9 3-year-olds going a mile, including the 2nd, 3rd, and 5th place finishers from the Grade 3 Kitten's Joy, which was just here last month. Did you use any of those horses on top?
Kitten's Joy horses? No, not on top. I went to the rail. I went to Credibility, who I think is kind of interesting here at 6-1. Cassie and Gonzalez have been absolutely on fire, so love that combo. And you look at the kind of the last couple races. So let's rewind last year to October 10th at Keeneland. We're in the Grade 2 Bourbon. We ran 3rd behind Tis the Bomb and Stolen Base. That's good enough effort to go to the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, end up running 13th there. Not as really worried about the result, especially after we ran close to Tis the Bomb the previous race. Just that the connections decided that this horse was good enough to go. We come back, we debut on the synthetic, run well as a favorite. Now we're second off the layoff. That first race is clearly a prep to kind of get it going here. I like this horse at a mile. The horse has run well. Broke its maiden here at Gulfstream going a mile. I like the fact that we progressed every race last year going into the Breeders' Cup. And I expect this horse to take a step forward this year, second off the layoff, especially since I think turf is the better surface for this horse. So I'm looking at that 76 buyer number last time out, the time form number last time out. And I'm thinking we're going to take a decent step forward off of both of those. So I ended up putting the one Credibility at 6-1 on top.
Didn't end up using, but I gave it a solid look at. I'm not so sure that this horse is of that talent level. I don't like the fact that this horse was, I found all of his success early, and as the year kind of went on, obviously struggled in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf, but there wasn't enough to make me love him. And because of the dollar minimum of this pick 5 sequence, you're going to hear Mike and I say, like, I like this horse. Couldn't put him on my ticket. Mike actually is going to give you each one of those. So for me, Credibility was one of those. I wanted to play him. I like Cassie horses when he's doing this move with them. I actually like that one better than the 2 Coinage, which I don't think either one of us used in this spot. Did we?
No, I didn't even consider Coinage on my ticket. I'm a little concerned. Like I agree with Nick here that the horse is second off the layoff. It's good that Stias stays on. I thought those were definite positives. Last time was kind of the time for me in Coinage, though. I mean, there was no other speed in that race. It was kind of a loose lead, and this horse wants to go wire to wire. And with not being able to get the job done against specifically Royal Spirit now twice, who's in this race, it made it really tough for me to include Coinage on a ticket when I'm trying to trim down in certain spots.
Let's talk about him. The 5-2 morning line favorite is the 6 Royal Spirit. It's the one horse you and I agree on. And interesting, you and I each went too deep, and this is where we landed here. Todd Pletcher is going to have himself a goddamn hell of a day on Saturday at Gulfstream Park. And it's going to be in part due to, I think, Royal Spirit. You touched on it, Mike. This is a horse that actually isn't a super need the lead, forwardly placed type, and yet just really hounded the shit out of Coinage. And it kind of backfired because Grand Sonata ended up catching them both late. Maybe that extra 16th of a mile in the mile and 16th Kitten's Joy is what threw him off there. But I really like this horse. I love the fact that Pletcher debuts him in a maiden special weight and says, he didn't win. Let's put him in a stakes. That didn't work. Let's put him in another stakes. Okay, now we'll bring him down, break his maiden, and then climb the ladder back up. So this is a perfect spot for him. Irad's riding. My question for you is, do you think that Irad's going to try and pull back a little bit and kind of get more of a stalking trip like from 2 back or 4 back versus the pressing style that he had last time?
I do. I think you're going to give. I think that when Paco and Todd looked at the form, they realized coinage was lone speed, and they kind of did their own dirty work. And I don't think they're going to have to do that today. I think you're going to be able to sit third or fourth and make a nice move around the final turn. I like the 6 quite a bit in this spot. The 1 horse on the improve is the reason I'm going too deep here, but I think the 6 is your logical winner and favorite. I think should run better than last time, which could make this a lot of trouble for the rest of the field. It's one of the reasons I'm only going too deep in here is I do like Royal Spirit quite a bit.
So I'm using 1 horse from the Kitten's Joy Stakes, and it's not the 2nd place finisher, and it's not the 3rd place finisher. It's the 5th place finisher, Red Danger for Brian Lynch, all the way out in post 9. But that's okay. This is a horse that doesn't like to be forwardly placed anyway. 2nd off the layoff, 2nd at 3, both good angles. The Kitten's Joy Stakes, I don't like. This is one of those times when you need to watch the replay. When you read the trip notes and it just says 1 pace late. No. Watch the head on. The horse is making a move and what probably was going to get 3rd. Probably going to get within a length or so of coinage. And then you had a horse that was fading, that was just completely gasped and stumble bunting and literally was doing this all over the track. And if you watch the head on, you see Red Danger have to skirt out 3 different times because this horse is going to hit him. Now we got 2nd off the layoff. The horse is going to be coming late. There seems like there's a lot of cheap speed here. We haven't really talked about, but there's a lot of horses like Coinage, like Mom's Moon, Bueno, Sosua Summer, horses that need the lead. And the second they get challenged, they spit the bit. So I'm going to take this horse flying from off the pace, see if he can get the job done.
So this was my 3rd horse. This was the first off the ticket in this leg for me. So I do like Red Danger. I think the 1 point you didn't make that I think is relevant too here. You look at the other mile in the 16th race back at Keeneland. It got weird in the last 16th of a mile. I think that's why this horse was 1 pace late as well. I don't think it wants to go a mile and 16th. I think this is a much better distance for it going a mile right off the bat here. So I think that we're going to travel a better distance for the 9 Red Danger here. I don't love the post, but I like the fact that we are able to close. And I do think this horse is a logical improve. So for me, the 9 would have been the next one in. I also, the works have been spectacular all year. So I like the fact that the 9's been working well, even before and after that last race. The other horse I considered that I didn't put on the ticket, so I considered 4 in this spot, and ironically, the 4th one is the 4 horse Main Event. This horse took a big step forward. This is the son of Bernardini. The turf Tomlinson isn't that great, but this specific distance is significantly better. This horse would probably love a sloppy track, but got on the turf for the first time and took a nice jump up, faced early voting 2 back, faced Life is Great and Sky and Sand 3 back. So tough maidens on the dirt. So I'm willing to give a pass in both those. I'm not sure the trip this horse wants, and that was the biggest issue for me. I mean, he was able to go wire to wire, going a mile and 16th at Gulfstream is not fast enough to get the lead, which is obviously an issue in this spot if you want to go wire to wire. But if this horse is able to stalk, the talent seems to be there on the turf. And the most likely horse to take a massive jump is the 4, simply because this is the lightliest raced horse, and it's only the 2nd time on turf. So if one takes a huge step forward, I would think it's the 4. Seeing the morning line at 5-1 makes me a little less interested. I was hoping I'd get 10 to 15-1 on this horse. So I'm happy with my 1 and the 6, but the 4 and the 9 were the 2 others I considered.
Excuse me. Yeah, the morning line was the big jump. The horse has never even been close to 5-1 before, and that big jump on the turf is nice and does have an older sister who actually won her debut going a mile on the turf. So the pedigree's there, but I think that 5-1 morning line might be what ultimately keeps a lot of us off. Let's move on. 2nd leg of the all turf stakes pick 5 sequence. We're going to stay at Gulfstream Park and go down to race 9 here. This is the grade 3 Honey Fox Stakes. Field of 11 older fillies and mares going on. By the way, all 5 of these are not only on turf, they're a mile. They should just call this all turf mile stakes. Going a mile. And there's a lot of old friends in here. I'm very curious. I know you went super deep in this spot. Where do you want to go first?
My top pick was the 3 horse, Jousta. Look, this horse was the favorite at Saratoga going a mile in the Lake George and just kind of stopped. It was tough to win going wire to wire on that day. A lot of horses were coming from off the pace. Prior to that, we went a mile and 13th and faced some really good horses. We were able to beat Gift List going a mile. Keeneland. When we're playing at Gulfstream, and yeah, Chris brings up a point. Horses have been coming off the pace on the turf, but I think that's because the turf has been playing more fair. I still think you can win going wire to wire, and I'd still rather be forwardly placed than coming from way out of it if I'm at this Gulfstream Park turf. I think Jouster is the speed of the speed. I think Todd's rolling out his big boys for this day, and I love the fact that we got Saez on board because it means that he's going to get the lead. There is other speed in here, but at a mile, at specifically Gulfstream, speed's important, and he's the inside speed. He should get the rail and the lead going into the backstretch.
Top pick as well for me. So I went 3 deep, you went 5 deep, and all 3 of mine are on your ticket. So do you want to talk about the 5 or the 9 next?
So the 5 is the last one on the ticket for me. So if you like that one, you can talk about it.
Perfect.
Go for it.
The 5, bipartisanship, Grand Motion. I like the fact that this horse has the win over the course, the Tropical Park Oaks, last December, and he sends her up to the Pegasus World Cup Filly and Mare Turf for her next start. And it's interesting that that's where he goes off of that. It was a pretty aggressive move, but it made sense for the way she was progressing. But there was no pace meltdown. There's 2 horses that I'm using, or this horse that I'm using here was looking for a big pace meltdown in that Pegasus World Cup Filly and Mare Turf. Didn't get it. Still manages to hold on for 5th. I think this horse is going to need a lot of pace. And just like the last race, there's a lot of bad speed in this race where I think it's going to come back. It's a matter of if Jouster, if they all come back, because I think Jouster has a really strong chance, like you do, to get off to a loose lead. If not, I think this is the horse that comes and catches her, bipartisanship.
Yeah, I mean, look, I like the fact that there was a number that validates the Breeders' Cup Turf World Invitational number there. Like I, from a buyer perspective, I also often call things false buyers if the number doesn't really make sense to me. Giftless buyer doesn't really make sense to me in the Turf Invitational. Alms's buyer doesn't really make sense to me in the Turf Invitational. Both of them are career best numbers. Bipartisanship at least had a number going into it that was close to what we saw from that race. That gives me a little more faith in bipartisanship and like. The Breeders' Cup Turf Invitational is one of those races where I'm kind of like, not all that interested in that race coming out of it. But I'm going to use one of the horses that did, well, 2 of them, I guess. But one of the reasons because we're shortening it up a little bit. But let's go to the 9. That's the 5, like I said, last on the ticket for me. I do think the horse is going to be coming from off the pace. The 9 horse in Italian is really interesting. It's the 3rd time out for Chad Brown. The horse is 2 for 3. Won at a very short price last time and beat absolutely nothing in that Tampa Bay race. We often talk about how Chad has his best turf horses at Tampa. I think this is one of those better turf horses. His 4-year-old daughter, DeBowie, who's one of the most consistent sires in the world, is going to have to come from off the pace this time. But if you look back at the first race at Tampa Bay going a mile and 16th, the horse was able to pass horses, ends up just missing the fate of Ophelia. Didn't get the best trip that day and also had to rally up the inside, which isn't necessarily where you want to be as a maiden. I love the fact that we're going from that $25,000 non-winners to 1 right into the deep water here. I mean, this just tells you all you need to know about what Chad thinks about this horse. The numbers fit. If we improve it all, this horse could just tower over this field. I'd throw a win bet in at 8-1 if I get it. I don't think I'm getting 8-1 on race day though. That
was going to be my point. We're getting 8-1 on a horse that was 7-5 on debut, 6-5 when she breaks her maiden, and 1-2 at Tampa last out. Yeah, love it. 3-5-9 for me. Give me your other 2.
I'm going to put Gift List in there because I do think that Gift List, if we can run back to the 3 races in 2021, is good enough to be able to get the job done here. So I am going to include Gift List. And then the other horse that I used here is the 8 horse, Wakanaka. Look, yeah, I realize this horse was no factor inside. That was the longest distance, a mile and 16th, that this horse has gone in his career. And it was the first time in North America, first time off a layoff. There's a lot of excuses for why this horse maybe didn't fire the AA plus effort. I think this horse is dangerous coming back. I actually liked Wakanaka in that race. I like Wakanaka again here. The horse is 6 for 9 for its career. It had improving time form numbers every race in Europe. So with those jumps up, and then you have this 1 step back in the Pegasus Invitational, specifically going an extra distance. You had Rispoli up. You're getting Ortiz up today. We're cutting back to a mile. I think all the systems are go here. I like, as crazy as it sounds too, Mott and Jose Ortiz, 10 races together so far. 7 for 10. You're on mute, but 7 for 10 is really impressive. So yeah, I'm going to include the 8 as well. Wakanaka in this spot. I'm going to end up 5 deep. Did you consider anybody else, or was it always just those 3 for you?
Wakanaka was originally on my ticket, and then I took her back off because I hated her in the Pegasus World Cup Filly and Mare Turf. This is a horse that's only raced in Italy. Everyone's like, oh, she's coming from Europe. She's coming from Italy. It's like if a horse goes overseas to Dubai, it's like, oh, coming from America. Raced at goddamn Zia Park. Come on. Like, let's be honest here. Did you really race against the best? Her time form number, her career best was 100. If you use a 12-15 ratio for buyers to time form, that puts her right where her Pegasus World Cup Filly and Mare Turf figure is. That's not good enough to win this race. She's not good enough to win this race. I don't like her. There's a lot of things to really like about her. And then I remembered it's this horse, and I went, the hell would I ever play Wakanaka here? No, I'm going to let her beat me.
Well, if my argument is correct and she's better at a mile than a mile and 16th, improve that number. Yep. If turning 3 to 4 matters to you at all, improve that number. If second off the layoff matters to you at all, improve that number. If second North America matters to you all, improve that number. If second time 2 turns matters, improve that number. Come on, baby. Let's get it going.
Where's the Simpsons meme? Stop it. He's already dead.
This horse could take a huge step forward. And again, I'm sure if we do a dirt podcast, we'll talk about Bill Mott and his placement of horses. Him putting this horse right into Pegasus Invitational and then coming back in this spot, he loves the horse. He's telling you the horse is good. It's whether or not the horse is going to be able to get the job done.
And again, what really almost made her stay on was a set 7 for 10 with Jose Ortiz at this at the meet. It's just ridiculous how that doesn't even make sense. What 7 for 10?
Let's be fair to Italian racing too. The horse did win a Group 3 over there for $167,000. Like that's still some decent cheddar, man. You're not just getting some dogs running. Comparing that to Zia Park is pretty rough. I mean, Italian racing is angry at you right now.
Hey, Mike, you want to guess what the Zia Park Derby purse is worth? More than that.
The one race at Zia Park. You have one race.
The one race in Italy, the one race in Zia Park. Moving on. We're going to go to...
Okay. No. What do we like? Case of White Claws says there was a race worth more than $167,000 in all of Italy this year.
Moving on. Santa Anita Park.
Exactly. Go turn around and make your popcorn, buddy.
It's still warming up. Things are getting quite heated here, though. Let's go to Santa Anita Park. We're going to go to Leg 3, Grade 2, Buena Vista Stakes, Race 5. Got a field of 11 older fillies and mares in here. I got to figure out which one has got my right tab here. There it is.
A lot of scrolling.
It's a lot of scrolling. Listen, I'm trying to use – I don't understand how Apple users use this stupid mouse. It's driving me crazy. Listen, you got Mucho Unusual in this field of 11, and unfortunately, she's drawn all the way out in post 11. She's runner-up each of the last 2 years. If she gets second again, hear me out on this. Play whoever beats her next out as a single, because whoever beats Mucho Unusual in this race has one next out as well. So with that in mind, it's all pointless. Where are you going on top?
I'm going to defer to you, even though you did a terrible job making your arguments last race. I will still defer to you because you singled here, and it is my top pick as well. But you had the gusto to single, so I'm going to let you take it over here.
Yeah, the 5, Legs Galore, 7-2. I don't think we're getting 7-2 on her in this spot, but to me, this is the speed of the speed. This horse is unbelievably fast. She's fast early. She's fast late. The way that she gets beat is maybe she just has a long campaign, and this is second off the layoff, so you can't really rely on that for here. The next fastest horse, based on Timeform US figures, she's got a 122. Next fastest is a 103 from the Phil D'Amato barn, which is where she's coming from. Nobody's touching this horse early. We're not going a mile and 16th. We're not going a mile and 8th. We're going a mile, Mike. It's going to be over real fast. Legs Galore is going to be out fast early on a loose lead, and I'm just going to say, all right, let's move on to leg 4.
Yeah, I mean, look, Legs Galore is my top pick. The one concern we should at least address here is it's a mile. And well, it's not a mile and 16th. She is 1 for 3 at a mile, with being in the lead, loose leader in all 3 of those races, and finished second and fourth in 2 of them. So she can be caught, especially if there's an abundance of pace. And there are quite a few horses here who I think could at least mess with her a little bit. I would expect Going to Vegas is going to be pretty forwardly placed, but that draw is really tough. Same with Canoodling, but again, the draw is really tough. Tony Ann is not as fast as it looks on paper, so I'm not as worried about Tony Ann, but could cause a little bit of trouble toward the inside. So, all that being said, I still like Legs Galore the most, but I thought that this race was a unique opportunity because I hate the 10 and the 11. I have no interest at all in Going to Vegas and Mucho Unusual, which means I'm going to like some prices here. And that's kind of where I went. It's why I went 3 deep, is because of the prices of these horses, not necessarily because I think that they're like slam dunk winners here. I like the prices on both of them. The 3 Keeper of Time, 10-1. Let's start there. Like, this horse done absolutely nothing wrong since coming over. It went right into a restricted stakes at Saratoga, ends up ranked third to Rastafara, faces Spanish Love Affair next time out, and gets crushed. Like, totally admit that. Comes back in the Glen Cove, runs a good third, then runs into Sweet Melania next time out, and it closes into a really, really slow pace where they went 134 in a mile, which is a very good job to close into that. Then the last race kind of muddies up the form a little bit because we were over synthetic. This is a horse who I think has tactical speed, loves a mile, and with a step forward, fits with this entire group. Should sit that nice trip and doesn't need to use any horse to get position. The 10 and the 11, to me, are almost the identical horse to the 3, except they're a worse price and they're drawn outside, so they cannot, into the mile turn that's tight at Santa Anita, they can't get position as easily as the 3 Keeper of Time can. So love the price, love the post position. Think you're getting basically the same horse at more than double the price of those outside 2. Other horse I like is Madone, the 4 horse, who I'm getting 15-1, and I think could take a monster step forward in this spot. This is a 4-year-old, second time out as a 4-year-old. If you go back and watch that race, Madone was too close. It's very simply that they went so slow that Madone was uncomfortable and kind of was ranked the entire first half of that race, then finally got comfortable, didn't really make a run. To me, it was a pretty disappointing effort. But look, if you go back and you watch it and you say, hey, I can make a bunch of excuses for this horse, and if then you go back to the 3-year-old numbers, which are all good enough to compete with this field, if we take a step forward here and we get the pace set up, I think we might get, Madone could be flying late at a monster number. I think should take a big time step forward second out as a 4-year-old. So I'll take the 3, the 4, and the 5 here on the ticket.
My issue with the 4 is I think that she's one of those that she was incredible at 2. And the first half of her 3-year-old season, she was great, and then she petered off. And I don't know what caused her to peter off. Maybe she just needed long campaign. She needed a break. Second off the layoff, maybe she'll improve. I'm going to let her beat me. At this point, I've given up on Madone, and I loved her when she was a 2-year-old. Keeper of Time is I almost used her. This was the other horse I almost used. So I love that you have her in here as well. And specifically because of that Swanee River Stakes. I made a note that was the race that Sweet Melody, Shifty She, you talked about it. They went up front together, pretty slow. The fractions aren't on the form, but it was a really slow race. This was the only horse that really closed in that spot. She closed by over 5 lengths at one point. And she was a Group 3 winner, not in Italy and Ireland. I don't know if that's better than Italy or not, but definitely in Ireland, she won a Group 3 race. Only worth 65,500 though. So probably not many good horses in that spot.
So that would be 1/3 as good as the last horse.
Is that Italian race? Yeah. But no, seriously, I think that Keeper of Time is very sneaky. I took her off because of the pace setup. I think that 5 is going to be loose, and I think that 3 is going to have another issue like Swanee River. If you want to make some money, if you like legs galore, a 5-3 straight exacta wouldn't be the worst thing in the world because I think she's really going to come flying late. I just don't know that she's going to be able to get it to win. But there's a lot of Keeper of Time love here in the chat I see here too.
So for horses that almost made the ticket, there was only one other one from this spot. I considered the one closing remarks. A little concerned we're going too short, and that was the main reason the horse does not make the ticket. But I thought ran really well last time out. You draw a line through the race that was rained off, draw a line through the 7 furlong dirt effort. All the turf efforts are solid, including being a 2-1 favorite against Madone. What was that, 4 back on the turf here? So I think that this is another 4-year-old that's been improving, and if it continues to improve, could definitely have a shot here. So for me, the one closing remarks was the one who just missed the ticket in this leg.
She, I almost wonder if 1 1/8 is what she wants to be doing this, where she won at very well last time. So she does have a win at 1 mile, but yeah, this could be a good stepping stone for her. If she stretches back out after this, especially, could be a good one to use in that spot. You ready to go back to Gulfstream, buddy?
Oh yeah, baby, let's do it.
All right, let's go back to Gulfstream Park. We've got leg 4, grade 3. Here comes the Bride Stakes. This is the nightcap race 13 at Gulfstream Park. Field of 12 3-year-old fillies plus an also eligible. And like I said before, they're all going 1 mile. This was a race where I feel like you could make a lot of cases for a lot of things. I kind of went in the middle price-wise. I didn't use the favorite, but I didn't go too deep. What'd you do?
Well, I think Diamond Wow is going to wire this field. So I'm going to go right to it with the three horse. Look, this is one of those horses I specifically remember, the Jessamine. This horse drew the 13 out of 13 post and got this trash trip, right? And then we tried on dirt last time for no good reason. I've had issues with these Diamond horses, specifically with being cone, dirt, turf, 6 furlongs, 1 1/8, 2, 3, whoa. Like freaking Diamond Oops. Anyway, this horse wants turf. This horse wants 1 mile. This horse wants 2 turns. This horse will make the lead. I think Diamond Wow is going to wire the field at 8-1.
I do love her. I love her in this spot because of the Jessamine. You said Diamond Wow. I was like, okay. And you said the Jessamine. I was like, yes, this is exactly why I like this horse. That 13 post absolutely screwed her that day. Back on her preferred surface, adding the blinkers, not a winning move for the Buy-in Cone barn, but like Mike just said, Patrick just kind of wakes up each morning and goes, this surface, this race, this distance, this track. Yeah, exactly. So
where are we running Diamond Oops today?
The same way Aaron used to pull names for the fantasy league. Yeah. I love Diamond Wow here. Yeah. I went 4 deep here. Where else are you going?
I'm only going 2 deep. Okay. Give me the horse right to the outside. I really think Diamond Wow is wiring this field, but I do like Spinderella as an interesting one out of the Grand Motion barn here. This horse looked awesome in debut, and I don't often like taking these type of horses, like we're going right from maiden special weight, jumping up right into a graded stakes. But if I'm going to do it, The 3-year-old age is a great age to do it because you can have massive steps forward. I love the fact that you had Jose Ortiz take the mount for Grand Motion. He's only ridden for him 3 times the last 2 years at Gulfstream Park, only 37, which is low considering that Motion's a big Saratoga turf trainer and Ortiz does work up there. Only 37 times the last 2 years, but they've won 27% of the time over the last 2 years, 33% over Gulfstream Park the last 2 years. This is an aggressive placement for a horse that looks really good and should be able to stalk right behind the pace here. So I think the 4 is going to kind of trip out, be able to tuck in behind the 3, get rail position because there's not a ton of speed inside of the 3. So the 3 clears, the 4 tucks in and kind of gets that pocket trip here. I think gets first run at the leaders. I think is awfully dangerous if she is able to take a big time step forward.
Let's go back in time to last fall. There's a horse named Side Dog. Grand Motion gets to win, going 7 furlongs on the turf at Belmont Park on debut. Runs him right back in a 2-turn stakes race at Aqueduct, wins the Central Park Stakes. Grand Motion can do this. He's very good at it. He's 21% with horses when they won last time, winning again. And by the way, Spenderella, a half to a grade 1 winner on grass. Yeah, I like the 4 as well. So you went too deep. Those are yours. I'll give you mine, and we'll see if those are any of the ones that you considered using. And I'm just going to bookend the 3 and the 4 with the 2 and the 5. The 2 ended up being my top pick, Mischievous Kiss. Bill Mott, pretty good with spotting horses. I think we've talked about that before. This is another one where Breaks the Maiden goes straight into a turf route, well, a mile and 16th stakes at Belmont Park and wins, and then misses in the tap-in, but didn't have the best trip. Now we're getting back to Junior Alvarado, who's Mott's go-to guy. Solid string of works. Mott is 24% off of a layoff like this. Half sister to a horse that won several stakes in the grade 3. So I think this horse has a lot of talent. If this isn't the spot where she wins, I think she definitely can win next out as well.
Yeah, I had this was one of the 2 last this was a deep ticket horse for me, right? So my 4th pick in the race, but one of the ones I did consider in the spot. For all the reasons you said, I think this is a big jockey upgrade too, getting back to Alvarado from Cancel, and I like New York turf form coming down to Florida.
Last one I used, the 5, beside herself, Todd Pletcher, the Toster. We keep saying he's going to have a big day Saturday at Gulfstream. And here he's got a Coolmore-owned horse, a daughter of Uncle Mo, out of a Giants Causeway mare. Basically, she's won twice because if you watch the gallop out, her race 2 back, yes, she missed at the wire by 3/4 of a length. She had it won by the time they got to the turn. So then she thinks, all right, next time out, I'm going to win again. So she thinks she's actually won twice in her life. And that's actually pretty big for a horse's confidence. I love the fact that this horse can be on the lead like she did when she broke her maiden, or she can come from off when she just missed. Slightly concerned that a mile might actually be too short for her because those were both mile and the 16th, but it is Irad. It's Todd Pletcher. I'm surprised you didn't use this horse. Was it the 4-to-1 price?
No, it was the fact that Saez gets off this horse. I didn't think that there was much behind her or in front of her in those other races. So I wasn't overall impressed with Beside Herself. It was one I didn't even consider at this spot.
Oh, interesting. You said there was one other one that would have made your ticket. Who would it be?
So the next up for me, I used the 2 must uses in the 3 and the 4. The next up for me was actually the 8 Opalina. Opalina is where Saez ends up in this spot for a barn that he doesn't ride for very often, just 3 times in the last 2 years. A barn that's 29% at Gulfstream right now, and is placing this horse pretty aggressively. This is the only horse that's won a stakes or graded stakes race in the last couple of years. So it's interesting that we're running this horse right back into a graded stakes. Was able to get the job done in the Sweet Chant, in the grade 3 Sweet Chant. Was that February 5th? Look, this horse keeps improving. And if this horse keeps getting better and better, the numbers already make it one of the top 2, maybe 3 horses in this spot. I don't love the price for the connections, but the fact that Saez ends up here and not on that Pletcher that we just discussed, I think tells you everything you know about the talent level here for Opalina. So the 8 horse was the first off my ticket. Then that 2 that you mentioned was next. And then the 12 horse all the way to the outside here in Leah Marina was the 3rd one off. Just won the wait a while. I thought that she makes a ton of sense, especially picking up Rosario. She's going to have to stalk and kind of change up the strategy here, since I don't think you're making the lead from that 12 post. So a lot of this is going to be trip dependent. But that's one of the main reasons she actually missed the ticket. If this horse drew the 1 or the 2, she's probably on the ticket. But from the 12, I think it's awfully tough. And then we have one comment in here as well.
This one?
Yeah, that was too. Nick's comment. What happens if Chad draws in this race? I'm really interested to see where Irad ends up. If Irad ends up on the Chad, I'm probably using the Chad. If he stays off, then it's going to be back and forth for me. It'll depend if I lose a horse somewhere else. If I decide to single legs galore, then this horse makes the ticket. Like, it really depends on how the rest of the races shape up. But the 13 would definitely be in consideration if it draws in.
I was trying to remember if that was that was different. The trainers in France who were arrested, there was the family that were brothers for cheating, but it wasn't the bodies who had Dolce Zell. I had to make sure I checked on that first. It's an interesting horse. She's gonna actually, if she draws in, she won at Longchamp, which is like a premier track in France, at 24-1. And at 128 pounds is 5-1, 118 pounds. Slightly different scenario here in North America for Dolce Zell.
Yeah, the numbers weren't good. I mean, this is a I believe in Chad bet, right?
Yeah,
like, this is
71 time form for her win.
No bueno. That's like what, a 55, somewhere in that range, 58. From a buyer perspective, which would be the lowest of anybody in this field. So you're saying that she's going to improve and that they saw something in the talent and that Chad's gonna be able to put a turn of a foot in her.
Let's move on to the final leg of the all turf stakes, pick 5. Thankfully, unlike the dirt where you have to wait almost 2.5 hours between legs 4 and 5, we don't have to wait as long for this one. For the grade 1 Frank Kilroe Mile Stakes, race 10. Field of 12 older males entered in this race. I don't like almost any of these horses in this spot, Mike. These are all horses. I'm like, ugh, you again. Like, why is Delaware here facing Flavius and Space Traveler? There's just a lot of ugh. I don't like this. Finish this off strong, buddy.
Look, man, I'm a chase Space Traveler. I don't love chasing Space Traveler, but I'm going to chase Space Traveler here. Ran well last time out. It did not have a clean trip at all in the Pegasus Turf Invitational, but still ran well behind Colonel Liam. I think Space Traveler might have been the best horse on that day if Space Traveler gets a clean trip. You go back to the Fort Lauderdale, and that one was a little disappointing. And to be honest, that was the one that concerns me of all the different races on the page here. The other races, the horse ran well. I mean, especially if you look at the Grade 1 Kilroy or the Grade 1 Keeneland Turf Mile, they came home in sub 24 seconds, and this horse was closing into that pace. So yeah, we ended up finishing 5th, but they were flying and went pretty slow early. And you have the same thing when you look back at Ellington Park. Again, they went really slow early, and this horse is trying to close ground. Woodbine Mile, exact same thing. Town Cruise went wire to wire. So I can make an excuse for every single race in America for Space Traveler. Eventually, this horse has to win, right? And I think Saturday may be the day we finally see Space Traveler break through.
This is the midnight bourbon of turf racing. He's the ultimate next time horse.
No,
my God, I am so
bourbon.
sick of this horse. I'm glad he keeps showing up because people keep betting him, but good God, just stop.
No, but Midnight Bourbon isn't as good as everyone he's running against. Space Traveler has the talent. That's not a problem. You could say this is your Flavius. You could go with
that's not better.
Well, I'm not
Rock
saying
Emperor, Flavius, Delaware. Yeah. Let's just throw them all into the same blender here. Jeez.
Who's the other one? The Miler that Chad had that I kept
Raging
using.
Bull.
Yes, there we go. This is the Raging Bull. Where the horse clearly has talent.
Raging Bull won in America. Thank you.
Well, this horse will win in America on Saturday. Thank you.
Space Traveler. There was a little bit of salt at the end of that one. You know, my favorite thing about this Space Traveler thing is that Brendan Walsh has had him since probably August, right? If you look at when he came to America. He told Steve Anderson in the DRF article previewing the race, you know what? We're just starting to get to know the horse. You've had him since August. You're just now getting to know him. I feel like I know this horse better than his trainer does when he says stuff like that.
Perfect. It's a huge reason for improve. Big step forward on Saturday for Space Traveler.
Listen, all you need to know when you're handicapping California turf racing, where's Flavian Pratt? He's on the 4 count again. That's my top choice here. He won it a mile over this course in the Great Street Thunder Road last month. Coming from well off the pace. He caught Subconscious, which wasn't something I thought was going to be possible in that spot. I really thought Subconscious was long gone, and he got him. So I'm going to use him. I actually used both of those horses. So those were my 2 must-uses, were the 2 Subconscious and the 4 count again. What about you?
The 4 count again was another must-use for me. So it was the 4 and the 8 that I thought were my top 2 picks here. I agree with you on Flavian Pratt. Second off the layoff for a 7-year-old. Usually you're going to see something a little bit better. Horse likes the distance, likes Santa Anita. Just checks all the boxes. It makes sense at 7-2. So nothing bad to say about count again. For me, last time was the time for Subconscious. I'm not sure I want to run this horse right back. Yeah, I could take a step forward. Second out as a 4-year-old, definitely something I like there. Dropping a little bit weight, definitely something I like there. But I just not sure Subconscious can kind of flip the script here on count again. And that to me was the big difference.
Yeah, it's going to be, especially because now count again is second off the layoff, so you can make more of a case for him there. I'm laughing at some of the comments. Chris says he lost a mortgage payment on count again. Brett going with count again. Yeah, Space Traveler had a poop ride last time out, Chris. Guess who's riding him? The same damn jockey that rode him and gave him a poop ride. And now we're moving tracks. I don't know. I think I would like him a little bit better if Jamie Spencer wasn't following him to California. Now I'm starting to wonder about that a little bit.
Yeah, Jamie Spencer's left a little something to be desired in a couple rides. Just throwing it out there.
The other two I'll use here, the sixth law professor, a horse that last year when he got on the turf was like, hey, maybe this is going to be something he'll be good at. And then you try to go in the Mathis Brothers Mile. I can't even call it that. The Mathis Brothers Mile ends up winning it, but it's off the turf. Stays on dirt for the San Pasquale and gets second. This is to Express Train, who is the heavy favorite in the big cap, which is after this race at Santa Anita. The fact that he's not in the big cap when he was, second to Express Train, he's going to come here. That tells me they think that he's got a better chance at getting a grade 1 win in this spot. So I'm going to roll with him, even though those turf buyers, 79.85, yeah, he's 4 years old now, but he needs a big step forward from those numbers.
So I had 3 horses that I considered that didn't make the ticket. The sixth law professor was one of them. I think this is one of those spots where I try to trust McCarthy here. Big knock for me, Cedillo on the turf. He's always been worse on the turf than the dirt. So that's a concern for me, but I agree with you. This horse has a ton of talent. And the fact that they're coming and running in this spot instead of the big cap tells me that I think that McCarthy thinks this horse is a better turf horse. I agree with you. So I'm going to trust them and think maybe the 6 can get it done here. Do we go over every horse that you're using?
We did not. I'm kind of nervous to talk about the last horse I'm using here.
I think. Wait, who? Let me see. No, I like the last horse you're using. Go ahead.
You do the 7 horse. Okay, yeah. The 7 horse. Tell your daddy, Tom Morley.
Tell your daddy about it. Come on.
Oh God. Listen, the horse's form at the end of last year tells me that if he was still in training, like if he was coming in this right now, I'm like, you're getting a lot better or a lot lower than 6-1 on him. He handles the mile. He's got lots of good form. He's been facing good horses, but he also, the one time he won, he went gate to wire against 3 other horses on a yielding turf course. But the fact that Velasquez kept riding him and now Velasquez is here is going to take the mount again. I just feel like this horse is sitting on a big one, but I need you to convince me why he's going to win this because I don't feel like I convinced myself just now.
Well,
why did you like him? Let me rephrase it that way.
I think he might be the fastest horse early. And that was one of the main reasons I put him on the ticket. A lot of those Belmont races or the 1-turn miles, you see pretty fast paces early. I also like, look, he ran really well in the Keeneland Turf Mile 2 back. Like that was a very, very good race to get second to In Love. Mandate, who we've talked a lot about Mandate on this podcast, beat him last time out. Has taken massive steps forward since we talked about him in the $25,000 claiming level. And so Mandate actually has been running pretty well as well. So I like what he's coming out of. I think the horse is going to be forwardly placed. I wouldn't be shocked if the horse makes the lead. Velasquez has some of those, I'm going sneaky fast in the first quarter, and then all of a sudden I got away with a 47-second half mile and wins the race. That's kind of what I see from Tell Your Daddy here, is that Velasquez is like, screw it, I'm clearing. And you have Beyond Brilliant and Subconscious, and they're like, yeah, cool, you clear. We'll just chill here in second and third and then get you down the lane. And all of a sudden, Velasquez is up 3, turning for home, and no one catches him.
I'm appreciating the love here in the chat. Ricky says he's got like law professor Charles, Tell Your Daddy, second pick. This made me laugh. Chris says Joel Rosario thinks Jamie Spencer takes his horses back to that's great. Mandate sucked 2 days ago. Buyer beware. We don't talk about Mandate on this program. That's one of the
rules. He sucked 2 days ago, but he strung like 4 races together. And after he lost to a 30-1 outrageous bet, he all of a sudden became God's gift to horse racing until 2 days ago.
Did we hit all the ones that you had considered?
No.
I wasn't counting. Who else?
No, I got one more. The 1 horse, Delaware, is the other one that I considered.
I knew it.
If we get back to the chat races, it fits in your 20-1. Like, yeah, I agree with you. The horse is probably like, there's a reason it's not on the ticket, but you got to at least consider it. Like, there are back numbers that completely fit this horse winning. See the Forbidden Apple, where the horse ran a 101 buyer. See the Lure, where the horse runs a 95 buyer. Like, there are races that fit. I prefer New York racing to California racing on the turf. We've talked about that. Not sure why Gallagher hasn't been able to get more out of this horse, right? I mean, isn't that a little weird? We're adding blinkers. Okay. Like, we had blinkers the entire time we were with Chad. So assuming we may get back to that form, 20-1, I'm willing to take a swing. If you want to play a real deep ticket and you want to spread in this leg, like, look, if I singled the 5 2 legs earlier, I probably would have gone deeper in this leg and gone 1-6-7 with the 3 with the 4 and the 8 for me.
I wonder if he took the blinkers off Delaware because Mike Smith, after the first time he rode him in the Joe Hernandez Stakes, said, take the blinkers off. And they took the blinkers off and he was worse. He was like, no, put them back on. That wasn't it. Put them back on.
Yeah, I don't understand why this horse was going 6.5 at Santa Anita. And I like that confused me. I just so I'm not really sure what to even make of that race. And then you take the blinkers off, and then it's like, oh well, yeah, we were turf sprinting and with blink. Like it's just a very odd first two races in the barn. I think we're getting back to kind of what we want to do here, right? Like, and the last one was a mile as well, but like sort of kind of first off, it's just a very odd sequence that they did with Delaware here. So I think you have the opportunity to see a better race because the back numbers do beat this field, and you're getting 20-1. It's just a question of are we going to return with those in the Gallagher barn when we were in the Chad Brown barn getting them.
That's going to do it for this episode of the Magic Mike Show. Thanks for joining Mike and I to go through the All-Turf Stakes Pick 5 that's on Saturday, March 5th between Gulfstream Park and Santa Anita Park. It's a really fun sequence. It's 12% takeout, $1 minimum. It's a lot of fun. If you want to play the dirt version as well, check out the Magic Mike Show 355. That'll be coming out bright and early tomorrow morning on Friday. If you are watching us on the replay or live, thanks for joining us. Take a look below. We've got our tickets here for you. And I did a little special thing, a combo $1 ticket. If you want to play Mike and I's combined picks, what we like, the horses we agree on, it's only going to cost you $9, so we'll see if we get that home. But I'll start off, Mike. I'm going to go 6-9 with 3-5-9, singling the 5 legs galore, 2-3-4-5, and then 2-4-6-7. That is a $96 ticket, which is infinitely higher than what my dirt ticket will be.
I'm going to spend a little bit more money, much like I did at the dirt one, and I'm going to go with $1 ticket, 1-6 with 3-5-6-8-9 with 3-4-5 with 3-4 with 4-8 for $1. That'll cost you $120.
And that combo $1 ticket, singling the 6, then 3-5-9, then singling legs galore, 3-4-5, and then singling count again in the finale there. Listen, we're going to single one jockey. It might as well be Flavian Pratt at Santa Anita, right? On the turf.
We got speed in the first Santa Anita. We got Pratt in the second. That's all you need.
That's all you need. Hey, listen, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. If you're new to the Magic Mike Show, thank you so much for joining us. Mike and I have done this 354 times or thereabouts. So we cover pick 4 sequences on Thursdays, and then on Mondays, we usually recap the action and talk about horses that we're going to stable up and play moving forward at a price. Over at racenews.com, we have the inside track to the Fountain of Youth Stakes wagering guide available right now. You can go purchase that. Or if you get any of our 30-day subscription plans, it's included for free, along with every other wagering guide. So make sure you go check that out, along with the Somobombs that this guy right here is putting together. Mike, where are you looking to go with the Somobombs this weekend?
Oh, I don't know. I was thinking about Zia Park. There's a nice track in Italy that looks kind of good. They have a pretty solid card as well. No. Okay, we swept the card at Gulfstream today, but so did everyone else because it's like I think it was like $200 and $300 for the 2 pick 5s. We had them both, so we're happy about that. Oh, yeah, exactly. Small claps. We should have pressed the late one. I think we crushed the late part of the card. Did we have that one on top? No, I didn't have that horse on top. So no, we still did pretty good though. Anyway, off track. I'm going to go with Gulfstream Park tomorrow. And then Saturday, obviously, we'll have both Santa Anita and Gulfstream. It's a huge day. And we're going to be a lot of pick 4, pick 5 sequences. I'll include these 2 tickets, both the dirt and the turf, and both of those products. So you can get those there. Sunday is up in the air right now. I haven't really decided. Then Monday, got to go to Golden Gate Fields, my man. Got to go to that pick 6. And maybe, if people are nice enough, we could even do a recap / late pick 4, pick 6, golden hour, something.
I think so, yeah, because Santa Anita canceled their Friday card and moved it to Monday. So we could probably have that golden hour on Monday. Yeah, that's a great idea. I love that. If you guys like it, throw a comment down. Let us know. I also did see in the comments someone was asking earlier about what the turf course was going to be like, and they did move. There's 90% chance of rain out here in LA tomorrow, but it's probably not going to affect the turf course. And I love that they moved it, Mike, because they were saying there's 2 turf races that are part of this big all turf stakes pick 5 sequence that we're doing, along with this whole great card. Keep it as nice as we can for Saturday. So I love it. Thank you, Santa Anita. Really appreciate it.
For people who are concerned about the whole, oh no, there's rain. Are we sure we're gonna be on the turf on Saturday? LA's currently like an epic drought. I think it'll be fine. Just throw it out there.
We got 2 people saying yes to the golden hour. That's all we need is 2. That's all it takes. 2 of you to tune in. Tune in on Monday. Also tune in tomorrow. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast and to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/racing news, to make sure that when Magic Mike Show 355 is live, Nick Sievers, I'm looking at you, you'll get notified about it. Follow us on Twitter. I am at Curtis Kalleward. He is at Somobomb 18, number 1, number 8, corporate rollers at racing_dudes. Until Monday, I'm Magic.
And I'm Mike. There'll be no Equinet show today, so sorry about that. Brady is traveling right now to Gulfstream, and there will be a live show on Saturday. Catch us at 5 o'clock Eastern, 4 o'clock Central, 2 o'clock Pacific for all 3 preps.
Oh, shoot, that's right. Yes, the Gotham
prep. Yeah,
the Gotham.
You need a hype guy.
The Gotham Stakes, the San Felipe Stakes and the Fountain of Youth Stakes. We're going to do that live, react to that. It's a wonderful hour. Bring alcohol. It'd be a lot of fun. Thanks so much for joining you guys. We'll see you on see you Saturday and see you Monday.
This has been a presentation of RacingDudes.com, your destination for all things horse racing and sports betting. Whether you want free winners, expert insider picks, up-to-the-minute trackside weather reports, or podcasts and videos for bettors of all skill levels. Never make another wager without visiting the Racing Dudes. First,